Hello, welcome to another episode of Pokemon Champions Regulation MA. Today I want to introduce a very special Snow Mega Froslass team that is originally designed by a Korean player named MeLuCa. He recently finished top 40 from the Global Challenge, which puts him number one in Korea. So you could say this is the best Korean team that came out of the Global Challenge. I am going to put the link of the original video that he explains everything in Korean, but I thought that it would be nice for the American viewers to have someone translate this into English and introduce it to you guys as well. So he talks about how he began to build the team, where he wanted to utilize the top two Pokemon in the format, well, one of the top two Pokemon in the format, being Basculegion and King Gambit, and their ability to close out the end game, and also cover for each other as well. Also, he wanted to play out the game where he wanted to pick a mega where it wasn't very hard to beat the Garchomp. He wanted to bring a very good matchup against the Garchomp, so that takes things out like Tyrannitars or Charizard, things like that. So he decided to choose the Mega Froslass as a player. He has received inspiration from a Japanese player named Sharnark, where he put out a combo between the Mega Froslass, Basculegion, and King Gambit, and he wanted to use that framework to build his party. Initially, he made the Mega Froslass very offensive and Milotic bulky, with the recover and icy wind variation of the Milotic. However, during his testing, he realized that it is better to put Froslass a little bit more defensive and Milotic a little bit more offensive to have a good matchup against the Garchomp, where Icy Wind was only doing not enough damage and sometimes needing up to 4 hits of Icy Wind on a Citrus Berry variant, where now he can use the Ice Beam, and with a lot of investment into the special attack, he can finish out the Garchomp in 1 or 2 hits. So that is the beginning of how he wanted to start making the team. And this team also features Dragonite with Dragon Fang, which has a very specific use later, and also a special training variant of Sneasler that I will introduce in just a little bit. As always, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing, leaving a like or a comment in the video. I do read and reply to everything, so it helps out with my channel a ton, and it's also fun to interact with anyone regarding the video. So now I'm going to move on to each individual Pokemon and their EV spreads and what it is meant to do. Okay, so first we are going to start with the Basculegion. This it never shows the item on here. I feel like it would be very nice to show the item on this page, but it is running the Focus Sash. And I just realized when I was filming for this that I put the EVs on special defense rather than speed when I was playing my games. I haven't had problem with the Basculegion. I guess it was a lot slower than what it should be, but it did its job. I was very happy with using it. It is supposed to take one hit with the focus sash anyway and finish with the aqua jet if possible. But I feel like this would have been much better if I had the speed investment like how it was supposed to be. So it is max attack, max speed, adamant nature with 2 points into defense. He used adamant because he often realized that the Jolly variant was very lacking in damage. And with the adamant, he's able to kill a max HP invested shield form Aegislash with 1 stack of last respects, so 100 base power. It will one hit KO in any circumstances, and also able to one hit KO max HP Incineroar with liquidation. Notably, it can also one hit KO Garchomp with 2 points into HP, so like the max attack, max speed, Jolly Garchomp variant that is often existing. How although right now we see Garchomp that is a little bit more bulky. However, with 2 stacks of last respects, so 150 base power, you can one hit KO the Garchomp, the least bulky variant, about 3/4 of the time. So 75% of the time, you're able to one hit KO the Garchomp. This is a very good finisher. It would have been a much better finisher if I had the speed, but liquidation is crucial to not take recoil damage from the wave crash, to not break the sash. Last respects is usually the move that I click because Basket Legion goes in the back, where in the beginning you will have Froslass or Sneasler, Milotic, or Dragonite to put some damage into the opponent, and then Basket Legion and the King Gambit will go in the end and clean up. So Last Respects often does 100-150 base power, and it is very strong. You can always take an attack onto with the Focus Sash, and because of that, it can go pretty strong into the opponent King Gambit as well. Now we are going to move on to King Gambit. It has 32 HP investment, 25 attack, 1 point into defense and special defense, and 7 points into speed. The speed investment, crucially, is for the other King Gambit mirrors. He stated that if he thinks about more mirrors of King Gambit, he does want to put more investment into speed. However, he wanted to keep the attack as much as possible because it is able to kill the Garchomp after doing some damage, some chip damage into the Garchomp, and then finishing off with the Sucker Punch. And without all the attack investment that it has, because 25 is still lower than the regular where they go either 30 or 32. So I think he felt like 25 was the least amount of attack EVs that he can afford to run. So +7 into speed is, what he can take. So it's pretty standard into Kowtow Cleave and Sucker Punch and Low Kick against the mirror. Also with 32 HP and 1 point into defense, you can take a Jolly max attack investment, Sneasler's close combat about 15 out of 16 times you get to live. And also with 1 point into special defense, you can take Modest or Quiet max special attack investment, Mega Blastoise, Aura Sphere. Also 15 out of 16 instances you can live. And of course with the Chopo Berry is what is helping the bulk of the King Gambit being able to have any fighting moves that goes into the King Gambit slot is very crucial in this case, and also helps with the mirror as well. Otherwise it is pretty standard, just a Chopo Berry Adamant set that took out as much out in the attack as possible in order to raise the speed a little bit for the mirror. Now we are moving on to the Mega Froslass, which is also the star of the show. However, this is a very bulky variant of the Mega Froslass. So like I said, this is a set that was first designed by a Japanese player that he gained inspiration by Shadow-Naku, where instead of going all out attack or timid, it puts a bulk being able to take some attacks. Notably, what it does take is modest max special attack investment Heat Wave, not Under the Sun. So he stated that without the bulky variant, he had trouble even after changing the weather. After like a turn of Protect, he will still die to Mega Charizard Heat Wave even under the snow. So this set allows the Froslass to live 75% of the time against a modest max special attack Mega Charizard Y Heat Wave in the snow. So no weather boost. Also with the bulk, it is able to live modest max special attack investment, Archaludon's Flash Cannon. So although most Archaludon is a stamina set without any special attack investment that they gain to raise the special attack through Electric Shot under the rain. However, some people do choose to run Archaludon not under the rain as a choice Scarf variant and sturdy most of the time, and go modest max special attack choice Scarf and hit the Flash Cannon that way. And that usually always took out the Froslass if it doesn't have any bulk investment. However, with 30 points into HP, it is able to live the Flash Cannon. The Scarf, although it wasn't very common in the meta right now, however, at the time when he built the team, he felt that he was seeing the Archaludon variant enough that he felt the need to spec into that. And also, it's just an added bonus that you get by getting the bulk into the Mega Charizard Y. Otherwise, in terms of attack, like the move set is very standard: Blizzard, Shadow Ball, Aura Veil, Protect. With 6 special attack is there, where it does it is puts it in a same special attack range with max special attack timid Gengar, not the Mega Gengar, the regular Gengar. And he felt like lower damage than that would make the Froslass not be relevant enough in terms of its damage output. So he felt like at least 6 points is necessary into making the Froslass do what it is supposed to do. And 30 investment into speed is modest, and 30 points into speed is not going to be the fastest. However, because we're bulky, we're able to take the Shadow Ball from the opponent Froslass, and we're able to do some damage. So at least, trade favorably even if we are slower. Well, sorry, not trade favorably, at least trade evenly even if we are slower, and that helps with the team as well. Just able to dish out one last damage before it dies. So Froslass, what it does is it's not going to get a lot of kills. However, it is often led in the front against most teams, hitting blizzards as much as you can, get the damage down, get some chip damage onto the opponent, and when it is about to die, you Aurora Veil and you die. One thing that I found really difficult to do is actually figuring out when the Mega Froslass is going to die. I often hit Aura Veil too early or too late, so I will hit it after it dies, and I realized that I mistimed it. I think a lot of the skill creep comes out from whether I can recognize when to hit that Aurora Veil, like realizing the turn that it is going to die or the turn before it is going to die. It's because it's not the Froslass, and it's also not this bulky Sneasler that I'm going to explain in a little bit that does the damage, and these are usually going in the front. But what we want as a most biggest damage dealer in this case is the King Gambit and the Basket Legion. So Aurora Veil is rarely for the leads, but what we have in the back, so we want to hit Aurora Veil as late as possible, but also before it dies. And that is really where the skill difference comes from. I was not able to utilize that part, like I wasn't good enough to figure that out. However, in my experience, sometimes it's just better to just hit one more move, like hit one more attack move and then die. But notably against a Tailwind team or maybe like a Trick Room team, you do want to Aura Veil first, because after they get off the Tailwind, you often die because it cannot become the fastest thing anymore, doubles up and dies. So against the Tailwind teams, it might be best to just hit the Aura Veil turn 1, make sure that you get that off, and then die next turn. So now this is also going to be a very special EV spread of the Sneasler. This is also from Japan that he adapted. The moves are very standard. Close combat, Dire Claw, Fake Out, Protect. You see that everywhere. Unburden, you see that everywhere. Also running White Herb. So on the open team sheet, everything looks pretty standard. However, you run 30 points into HP, 21 points into defense, and the rest into the speed. So let's start with the speed. The speed investment allows it to outspeed the Adamant or Modest Garchomp or Floettes, like the Mega Floettes, the base speed 102s. It cannot outspeed any Jolly or Timid. However, you rarely see Timid Mega Floette. You do see Garchomp a lot. However, with being bulky, if it is Jolly Garchomp, then you can take a hit from the Garchomp and able to do some damage to whatever that is on the side, to do some chip damage there, or you can also decide to chip damage into the Garchomp as well. So this bulk, very importantly, helps him live a lot of dual wing beats. A lot of Talonflames and a lot of Aerodactyls are utilizing dual wing beat into their moveset, and this can live Adamant, max attack, Sharp Beak, dual wing beat from the Talonflame, about 95% of the time. So this is very bulky, and also it can live the dual wing beat from a Jolly Aerodactyl. However, notably with more Mega Aerodactyls that is going around, it cannot live a dual wing beat from Mega Aerodactyl, so that is something that you need to be very careful of and not rely on the bulk of the Sneasler because it's not enough against the Mega. You can also take a Jolly Max Attack Garchomp's Earthquake that as a spread move, not the whole 100%, but the 75% version of it. All the time. There isn't an instance where you will die to the first Earthquake. Also, modest max special attack Mega Floette's Moonblast, you can live 13 out of 16 times. So those are what this defense spread allows it to do. And no attack investment into it, however, with being 11, like the multiple is 11, that's where it hits that bump. So as a 0, you can hit that bump. So you do some damage, however, some things that you expect to take out most of the time, like a Choppleberry King Gambit, like if you were adamant max attack investment, you are able to take that out with the close combat, but with the with minimal, well, no investment into the attack, you most likely is not going to kill it. So that's something that you should know and adapt around it. But like I said, Sneasler and the Froslass is rarely the main damage dealer, but it just provides chip to enable King Gambit and Basket Legion in the back. Now the next Pokemon is going to be the Dragonite. The Dragonite is used a lot for the opponent Aerodactyls and Garchomps. So he really put a lot of thought into fighting the opponent Garchomp. Whether they have he does have Basket Legion to take out Garchomp at the end. However, like I said, you can't really take out the Garchomp unless you get 2 stacks of Last Respects, and that sometimes is not something that you can rely on if Garchomp is led in the front. So this Dragonite runs Dragon Claw, Low Kick, Extreme Speed, and Protect. And its item it is running is going to be the Dragon Fang. So what Dragon Fang allows, and also what the adamant nature allows for, is that it can one-hit KO 2 EVs into HP Garchomp with Dragon Claw 100% of the time, and also do about 82 to 98% damage to the 2 HP Aerodactyl with the Dragon Claw as well. So it can take out the Aerodactyl with the combination of Dragon Claw into the Extreme Speed with the Dragon Fang. However, without the Dragon Fang, it is not able to take out the Aerodactyl with the combination as well. So that's what the Dragon Fang comes in, and also the full max attack investment. And also, it's another one of his job is to put as much damage into the opponent Charizard Y, because it doesn't really have a good way into fighting against the Zard Y other than like changing weather, mitigate some damage. However, everything is pretty weak into Solar Beam and Heat Wave, like that combination, except for Dragonite. So you try to put as much chip damage into the Zard as possible, and then finish off with whoever that you have in the back. So that's where all this attack investment is going into. And the 13 investment in speed is supposed to outspeed Adamant, 32 EVs into speed, Aegislash. So although Dragon Knight cannot do much damage into the Aegis Slash, if it takes like a Poltergeist, it can be pretty dangerous. That's why it is able to outspeed the fastest variant of the Adamant Aegis Slash and do damage to its partners. I guess he found the matchup against the Aegis Slash pretty hard, especially with the Dragon Knight, where it wants to attack the partner but gets bombarded by the Poltergeist. So he also stated that he was seeing a lot of Adamant max speed Aegis Slash during his testing, or before his testing, wherein he was formulating the team. But that set has fallen out a little bit more in the meta over the time. It's either that or he saw none but he see more now. But I think it was that he wasn't seeing as much as he has intended. And I haven't seen any Aegis Slash in my testing, at least not where I would bring the Dragon Knight personally. But I'm low rank, so what do I know? My meta is very different from his meta. The last is going to be the MeLuCa Citrus Berry. 30 into HP, 2 into defense, max special attack, and 2 points into speed. This is a very offensive variant of MeLuCa that you don't really see anymore. There's a lot of coil variants, there's a lot of Icy Wind Life Dew variants. However, this is a all-out attack called Icy Beam, Icy Wind Protect version. It does offer some bulk with being able to live modest max special attack investment. Venusaur's Leaf Storm about 15 out of 16 times. And in terms of offense, minimal investment into defense. Whimsicott, you can use Ice Beam to 1-hit KO about 3 out of 16 times, so you always want to do some chip damage into the Whimsicott. And also max HP Garchomp, you can always 1-hit KO with the Ice Beam if it is not putting any investment into special defense. And even if it does that, you could probably 1-hit KO a lot of the times as well, because it's never going to be max HP, max special defense Garchomp. So its main job is, there are 2 types of Mega Charizard Y Tailwind teams that I'm going to go over when I'm talking about the brings, the leads, and the backs into a certain matchup. However, you want to hit Whimsicott as much as possible, take it out before it can do some encore shenanigans. So some Whimsicott, you want to Ice Beam and then put the Whimsicott into a Dragon Knight's extreme speed range. So that's one of the reasons that it is running max special attack. And also, when it feels a little bit difficult to bring out the Froslass, but MeLuCa becomes the one in charge of taking out the Garchomp. And like I said before, the max HP, max defense, Life Dew Icy Wind variant would take too long into killing the opponent Garchomp. That's why with the Ice Beam and a lot of special attack investment, you are able to take out Garchomp before it does any disruption into our own team. Also, just added bonus, the higher special attack Scald does a lot of damage, a lot more chip damage into the King Gambit than before, which in one instance that we were able to like crit, we did crit, but we took out like 65% of the King Gambit with just one Scald. And you know, it's always nice to do more damage into the King Gambit, allow our damage dealers in the back to shine. Like, if I can take off more than half, then no matter what it is, the low kick from King Gambit is always able to take out the opponent King Gambit. So that is the explanation. Now going over to the common matchups. So the most common lead that you will at least initially bring in a lot of the circumstances, of course, as you get more familiar with the team, you will make some variations in your leads and your backs as you see fit, and as it fits your gameplay style as well. However, in the beginning, you can utilize some matchup variations that the original team maker has explained in his video. So as leads, you want to bring the Mega Froslass and Sneasler in the front, and with those two you try to do as much chip damage as possible, and as you are about to die, you set up the Aurora Veil so you can let the Basket Legion and King Gambit in the back to sweep at the end game. So the four that you bring would be the Sneasler and Froslass lead, and on the back you will have Basket Legion and King Gambit. Something to take note of is that Aurora Veil is always meant for the damage dealers in the back rather than for the Sneasler and the Froslass. So you want to use Aurora Veil as late as possible. However, if you think that Froslass is going to die too fast, you are welcome to use the Aurora Veil if it allows you to chip more damage into the opponent. Sometimes you can still choose to do more chip damage into the opponent rather than setting up the Aurora Veil if you think that that is better for the team. After Froslass dies, in order to fight the Garchomp, if they have like Garchomp in the back, it is mostly the role of Basket Legion to take out the Garchomp at the end game. So it is very important that you try to maintain as much HP on the Basket Legion if you think that they have Garchomp in the back that he will need to finish at the end game. That's just something to take note of. Also, another matchup that he explained is against very common Tailwind Charizard Y teams, and these usually run Whimsicott or Aerodactyl as the way of Tailwind. I did see Corviknight the other time where I got wrecked by, but that is something I will explain a little bit from my experience after I explain what he says. So normally you would either bring Dragonite or MeLuCa and Sneasler as a lead. So the method that you choose between Dragonite and MeLuCa is if they have Aerodactyl as the way to set up Tailwind, you will bring Dragonite and Sneasler lead. If they have Whimsicott as a Tailwind setter, then you would bring MeLuCa and Sneasler as their lead. So with the lead, you want to, if it is a Dragonite, you want to use Extreme Speed as much as you can in the appropriate circumstances to do chip damage, and then you will still finish off with Basket Legion and King Gambit in the back. Thing to note of is if they set up Tailwind already and they have Drought, the Sun setup with the Charizard, it becomes very difficult for the Basket Legion to do meaningful damage with the Aqua Jet even when it is slower. So you do not want to lose your two mons very quickly. You kind of want to trade. You make sure that you protect and you can Extreme Speed with the Dragonite to have it survive as long as possible, because of course it can resist a lot of damage that is done by the Charizard. So you want the Dragonite to survive as much as possible. And with the Sneasler, rather than using fake outs, you do want to provide as much chip damage onto the opponent with the close combat and the Dire Claw, rather than trying to like fake out and things. Also, one thing to note is that if you are likely to take out the opponent Aerodactyl fast, but you are scared about your Garchomp matchup, or if they have a Venusaur, you could decide to bring Mega Froslass instead of Basculegion. You would still want to bring the Kingambit, because then your team's overall becomes weak to the opponent Kingambit. So having our own Kingambit that can win against the mirror most of the time with its higher speed investment is very crucial in this matchup. So you do want to save your Kingambit for the opponent Kingambit as much as you can. You could also bring out the Mega Froslass early if you think that they're going to lead something like a Charizard Venusaur lead. Then you could protect first turn, maybe fish out whether they're going to set up the draw first turn, and try to play that way, try to see what you can do with that. But it really depends on how the opponent plays. And maybe in like a best of 3 scenario, I'm actually not quite sure how this team fares in a best of 3, because I have never really tried, but it might feel a little bit one trick ish once they figure out what your mons are designed to do. Like, realize Sneasler is bulky, not doing enough damage, Froslass bulky, not doing enough damage, and that can kind of put a lot of their focus into taking out the Basculegion and the Kingambit, and that might have some problem with it. But if all fails, you do have Dragonite or Milotic who can do some damage in that circumstance. Another matchup that he goes over is the Archaludon Rain team. In this team, you want to lead Kingambit and Mega Froslass. So by running Mega Froslass, if they have Pelipper in the front, you can pressure it by setting up your own snow. If they have Pelipper in the back, you can wait a little bit and then set up the snow again and have them Pelipper come out slower. The Kingambit as the lead works because a lot of these rain team with Archaludon wants to lead the Basculegion to take out our own lead, and by having Kingambit, it completely shuts down the Basculegion. You could kowtow that slot, do some chip damage into Pelipper, chip damage into Archaludon, whatever they may have in the back. And also some rain teams run Sableye, and having a prankster defense with the Kingambit is also, it comes in quite handy. One thing to note in this matchup is that you do not have a lot of special attack damage into the Archaludon. So if you attack into Archaludon willy-nilly, it gives them too much stamina boost and might not be able to finish off with either the Sneasler or the Basculegion in the back. So make sure that you don't touch the Archaludon as much as you can without having a set game plan of what you are going to do. Most of the time, like the first blizzard that you do against the Archaludon would do about 40-50% in most circumstances. So you do that, you get one stamina boost, and you don't really hit it with at least with the Kingambit, and try to either close combat or last respects at the end, and just try focusing on taking out the Archaludon's partners instead. Also, you could decide to run Mega Froslass in the back depending on some circumstances and bring out Dragonite in the front. However, you can bring Dragonite instead of Mega Froslass or Sneasler in certain matchups, you know, because there's always going to be variations in the team. However, if you do have Froslass in the back with the Dragonite in the front, you make sure that Froslass doesn't lose too much damage until it is ready to face the Archaludon, maybe 1v2 preferably, rather than 1v1, because with some boost into Archaludon, Flash Cannon is going to be very dangerous even under Aurora Veil. So you want to be careful on trying to maintain as much HP on your team and try to be smart about it. I think that is about it in what he explains. I am going to post the rental code that he posted and also the PokePaste along with his original video, so you guys can take a look at that if you guys want to check it out. In summary, I think this is a very strong team and I had a lot of fun with it. It being a little bit unorthodox gives you a little bit of depth into your VGC experience and how you play, and I thought that was very valuable in my time playing this team. So now you're going to see the gameplay of how I do first, some Master Ball tier in my first couple videos, and then be going over the Great Ball tier because the season rolled over, unfortunately, in the middle of my recording sessions. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you soon. Alright, so we are starting with the Rain team that has Archaludon, Pelipper, Basculegion, Mega Meganium. With those, there was something, he put up something that I was going to see. Okay. Alright, King Gambit, Froslass, and then Basculegion. And probably Sneasler is good. So I'm gonna go with what he said. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. He might not die here. Okay, that's the I do want to set up the snow. I think I'm gonna kowtow with Basculegion. I want to protect with the Froslass. That's the decision, right? I think I do. Because of whatever rain that might come. Because I feel like you last respects the Froslass. Yep. And then set up the Trick Room maybe. Built into Bask. Alright, that's one down. Who else is gonna come down? Probably Pelipper. Okay, Trick Room. That's to be expected. But I have King Gambit, which is good. I could attack it to the further. That's your Archaludon. Flash Cannon is a thing. Let me locate first. No, let's actually not give him any boost. So I'm going to kowtow the Bergerac. And I think I do want to Blizzard here. Set up the snow. And then switch out later. I think +1 is okay. Okay, rain dance. But that's alright. Okay, Overberry does not. Wow, that's not enough damage, huh? Flash Cannon, does that kill? Okay. It doesn't, but then I also cannot. Leftovers. I do want Sneasler up, but I think I just tap out the Furgiraffe again, and then I switch out to Bask. Taking a Flash Cannon is not the best, but I can always set up the snow after I kill the Furgiraffe, right? So I can slow down. Slow down the electric shot. Unless you try an electric shot now, which would be pretty bad. You do. So that goes into the King Gambit. Alright. Okay, so I need to stop. Wow, crit. Of course, never lucky. How many more turns of Trick Room do I have left? I do want to switch up to Froslass. So no rain, 2 turns of Trick Room. Probably last respects the Meganium then. Deal some damage to it. I'm not sure if King Gambit is faster than Archaludon. Might actually be faster. Might be better to bring in the snow instead of putting in the instead of switching out the Gambit, switch out the Vascular Legion instead and reposition that way. Because this is a slow team, it's a Trick Room team, so there's a possibility that I am faster with the Vascular Legion, despite the adamant nature. Let's see where it goes. Okay, so I'm faster than Meganium. That does not do enough damage. Solar Beam, probably into the Bask. And then hopefully you are charging. Electroshock charges, and then it goes into the King Gambit slot because you have Solar Beam that slot. I am probably slower here. So I'm going to protect here. Low kick into Archaludon. Bring it down to close combat range from the Sneasler. Low kick. I'm not sure if it brings it down to Sneasler range, but pretty close. Earth Power into King Gambit. That's okay. Electroshot into the Protect. That works out. You know, I'm probably faster. So there's no reason for me to not hit Blizzard here. And then close combat into the Archaludon. Even though he protects, if they double protect, that's kind of okay. I still have the snow up, and then I can just do the same thing. And Right, it protects. I think it should take out the Meganium. Alright, still protect. Could have set an Aurora Veil here if I am reading the double protect. Close combat. And then I think it still dies. Actually, Archalodon cannot kill Sneasler here. Right? So I Dire Claw the Meganium instead. Oh, never mind. Should have just close combat. I just didn't know what the cap was. To be honest. That's okay. Yeah. Good close combat. Flash Cannon takes that out. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. And all I have to do is I just hit close combat with the Sneasler twice and then I win. No matter how many stacks of defense, even if you're +3, I don't think you are living this. Protect. Trying to get the leftovers. Maybe if you protect twice, you can win. Right, the snow stopped, but I don't need the snow for anything. 19%. Can I take off 19% with the close combat? That's the important part. And double protect. Alright, now we're getting a little bit fishy. I just hope that I can break through. What other choice do I have? If I do enough damage, I win. If I don't, I lose. That's the only thing here. But I should have close combat the Archalodon. I was not confident with the ranges of my Froslass, so I didn't wanna do that. Okay, yeah, close enough. Right, because this Froslass is very defensive. It's not very much invested in the special attack, so even if it is modest, I could not be sure how much it would do onto the Meganium. So we are off to a pretty good start. It's a good thing that he put a very detailed use of what I can bring in the format, although there does need to be some tweaks if necessary. However, this looked like a pretty standard team, and whatever I'm picking into does really well. Like Sneasler is really good into Meganium, Sneasler is really good into, you know, the Archalodon, and whatever that they are bringing otherwise, and also the Tandem Mouse. Sorry, not Tandem Mouse, Mouseshold. And I have the King Gambit to cover for the Frigiraffe, and also the Basket Legion, and also Froslass for the Snow to set up. He didn't bring out the Pelipper, which is a little bit odd, but then it's not that weird considering that Frigiraffe was running Rain Dance, which is also a little bit more common in the Rain team specifically. I do see it run Rain Dance a little bit often, but Psycho Noise instead of Psychic is a little bit unorthodox. But knowing that there is so many of the Sableye Archalodon teams running around, it might be a better thing for the Psycho Noise to prevent the healing on either the Floette or the Archalodon or anything of that sorts with the Sinistra shenanigans. Okay, so standard 4 to bring against the Archalodon Rain team. And let's see. We start with the Frigiraffe Basket Legion, and I have the King Gambit Froslass So I was thinking that he wants to attack into my Froslass first, whether it's going to be a quick turn or last respects. So I did decide to protect here, also knowing that Pelipper might be in the back, but now I am starting to realize whether it was better to attack into the fur giraffe. Sucker Punch would have taken out the Basket Legion anyway. Oh no, I kowtow. I had to kowtow, right? Because I had to kowtow, I didn't want the last respects damage into the Froslass. I don't think it still does that much into this. This is probably a set that is a little bit more offensive, even with the fur giraffe. But with 50 base power, last respects, I'm not sure how much damage it does to the Froslass. Right, I have 30 into here. Oh, okay. So even I am bulky, so I would have lived, but I would be very low. And then after the trick room, I'm not sure how well it would have done. Maybe is me doing damage into the fur giraffe that important? Let's see. I have 6 in here. I am modest. I have this, but it's going to be 0.75. I don't have that. I do have this, but it doesn't really do anything. It's going to be kidding, probably max HP, right? So right, you do 40%. Maybe it has something. I think this and kowtow next turn would have done enough damage to put it down pretty low into maybe like an aqua jet range. Oh no, I didn't bring my Basket Legion, so it doesn't matter. But at least no, can't even fake out. So maybe it's right, but maybe it was just better to conserve my Froslass. Kowtow cleave onto the Basket Legion, does take it out. Trick Room gets off. Now Aurora Veil was a problem, which I did not do, because I wanted to attack into it. And I wanted to take out the Farigiraf here, which is fine in my opinion. Because I did not want the Trick Room to go off again, and also I didn't want to attack the Archaludon too much to potentially create an endgame where he has like +6 on Archaludon in the stamina and really becomes unkillable because I don't have a lot of special attack in my set right now. See, Colberberry does about 52, and then Blizzard. Flash Cannon, it does live. It is very specifically designed to live a Flash Cannon, even the modest ones. So it does put it down to 5%. So if I did attack here, I would have taken the last respects damage and then would have just died to a Flash Cannon here. So it does 40% on the Archaludon. Just want to make sure to take out the Farigiraf, which is fine, and then switch out to a potential Flash Cannon into this location. But he instead chooses to finish off with the Psychic Noise and then Kowtow Cleave. Knowing that I'm really glad that I didn't bring in the Sneasler in this slot instead, and I brought the Basket Legion. I just thought Electroshock wasn't going into that location. But then because Froslass was so low, it might have been better for him to do so, and crit does suck. I think it was 50-50 whether he electroshock. Actually, no, it's not. Because if the Psychic Noise is the only attack move that is running, like it's probably running Trick Room, Psychic Noise, Rain Dance, and maybe Hyper Voice, which is not going to click because it's a Mega Froslass. And you do want to definitely click that instead of Hyper Voice, even against King Gambit. In which case, the Archalodon is definitely attacking into the King Gambit because it can do more damage to it rather than the Froslass slot, right? And I think I'm a little bit low rank. I mean, I am in low rank right now for people to consider doing weird things with that. The crit definitely does suck here. It's not the best thing to happen. And now Meganium comes out. It's a little bit tricky. I know that my Sleezer can be good against everything else here, but I just didn't know how to get around it. And like I said, not having... Let me see. I just want to see what is stronger, right? Because nothing died yet. Basket Legion. 50 max. This goes down to 1. 13, 5, 20 to 24%. We're at, oh. 27 to 33% to max HP Meganium, whereas I would have done 23, 27. Okay, so this is still better. Do I pivot out? Not with a potential solar beam coming. I mean, I do have a Sneasler. It can take the solar beam pretty well. Oh, maybe that is how I do it. But Basket Legion wasn't as strong as I hoped it would be. I think if I saved it until a little bit more late game, but I didn't want to let the Froslass die. Mostly because of the rain and the electro shot that the Archalodon can keep gathering. Basket Legion did not do much in this matchup, but I had to cycle out the Basket Legion. I mean, I had to cycle out the Froslass to gain weather control. So I do not let the Arch keep getting electro shot boosts. That's very important. I needed the weather here. Now Sneasler can come out. No, King Gambit comes out. I think to sack here. Because I wanted to stall out a turn of Trick Room. And being Froslass being fast and King Gambit also being faster now, it dies, that's okay. Sneasler. And now here is the calc that I do want to figure out, right? I just want to see whether that was a roll and how much of a roll it was. But 6. Oh my god. I wish there was like a button that I can do for like a double minus thing. Alright, which is that Meganium. This does about 67 to 80%. So I think the lowest roll could have lived by 1 if I'm very unlucky. But let me just write this down. Over here, Mega Froslass Blizzard does 2H32 Meganium. So I think this, I mean, I would have killed it most of the time. I think I could have definitely close combated the Meganium slot. Even if it is resisted, I would do enough damage to it. Right, Blizzard here and then close combat. You should have Blizzard and close combat instead of Dire Claw. Blizzard does enough to put Meganium in range of close combat, no matter what. Now the second calc that I want to do, this is a little bit bulky Archalodon, I think, in my opinion. And this 0 adamant, that's fine, right? It would have done enough. Archalodon, probably max HP, nothing. 77 to 91, I think it was +3. 31 to 37%. So I think, yeah, at 25 I would have won. It would have been in range if he got the triple protect off, but I don't think he was going to risk for a triple protect. I think a double protect would have been enough. Okay, what if it's 0? It still doesn't kill, huh? I mean, yeah, because if I was a max adamant, 56% for me to kill, but because I have no investment, I need to know that it doesn't kill the Archalodon. Just like a Archalodon hits, something hit, and then I'm able to kill it with the additional attack. Okay, not bad for first game, but could definitely play better next time. Alright, so Mr. Garnet here. Trick Room. I think I would just go regular here. Right? Torkoal is a little bit bad. Drampa is a little bit tricky, so I do not want to Aurora Veil first here, but I think Sneasler, Froslass, and Basking Gambit is pretty good. Right? I think it covers for almost everything except for Belly Bolt. But then I don't think I have anything else on my side that I want to bring against Belly Bolt anyway. Discharge would definitely suck. but I'm going to do regular part. Okay, so let's start with this. I am going to think that I'm not going to click Veil as much as I can. Right, that's definitely a first. Oranguru can be inner focus. You might trick room. I'm gonna still fake out the Torkoal. And then... yeah, Blizzard here. If Cloud9 switches in, it's very weak against that because I get Blizzard. Most likely Torkoal protects here. Right? Yeah. That's fine. Could have close combat the Oranguru slot. It might have been better. Right, now it does check room. I do want to stall. Eruption would kill? I don't know. So close combat. And then Shadow Ball the Torkoal. Earth Power, okay. Yeah, but I'm bulky Sneasler. But you might Psychic. Do you Instruct? Okay, that's going to definitely take out the Sneasler. I could have protected, but I was expecting so I was expecting something else. That's why. Shadow Ball. I can take it out one more time. Earth Power, Earth Power, Earth Power, Earth Power, Earth Power. Basket Legion. Now what do? You might Heat Wave. In which I want to Aqua Jet the Oranguru. And then still Shadow Ball the Torkoal. Oh wow, that's definitely gonna take out the Froslass, isn't it? Could've... no. Oh, Foul Play instead. Alright. Shadow Ball is going to take out the Torkoal, but I'm not sure if I am able to win here. I'm at a pretty best slot because I only have King Gambit in the back. Ram. How many more turns of Trick Room do you have left? 2. Kowtow, Oranguru, and then Protect here. It's a Mega Dragon. We have Berserk here. Which I could low kick. Now really depends, are you going for the Froslass slot? Calm Mind. Alright. Maybe I really shouldn't have let him get Trick Room off. Double Calm Mind. What do you have? Ow. Does that kill? At least that kills. Not sure if low kick is enough. Oh, I need to take a hit. Oh, I do need to take a hit. So I have to kowtow first. Let's do a Hail Mary double protect here. Please, please, please. Come on. Because you're gonna Shadow Ball into this slot. Dragon Pulse into the Froslass. And then Matcha Gotcha. So now I'm faster. Please do not be a Cobra Berry. It cannot be a Cobra Berry, and I will have to live whatever Drampa comes hit me against, and I have to kill Drampa. You're faster than my King. Please don't burn. If you burn, I lose. Okay. Kowtow. Okay, what are you going to do? Dragon Pulse. Gonna have to take. Oh, now I just have to fight the way, right? Sinistra not dying. Sinistra calculating for that is definitely unfortunate. What could I have done if I had life dew is fine. I'm gonna have to try to kill the Drampa anyway. Locate into the Drampa, that's definitely not enough. But very bulky, huh? Alright, +3 Dragon Pulse is going to kill me. That's fine. I don't even. Alright, so I just recorded the whole thing of my second game review without actually hitting the record button, so I'm just gonna go over what I thought about about this game as I'm going through the VODs. So it starts with a hard Trick Room team. It's my first time going against something like this with this team because this is only my second game, of course. So I brought the standard 4 that he proposed because I didn't know what else to do, but then now in retrospect, without the Farigiraf, even with the Farigiraf, I think because the Trick Room setter is not something like Hatterene in this team, there's only going to be a this Oranguru and the Sinistra. I guess even if there was a Hatterene, I could definitely bring the Sneasler. So I think going back, that my lead would be something like Kingambit Sneasler to really pressure the Oranguru to have him either protect or switch out. I did the calc. I have about 77 or 91% chance to kill the Oranguru, depending on what that is. There is a chance that if I lead the Kingambit, he feels threatened enough to protect the Oranguru and the Heat Wave. The Torkoal might, I think if he is like a very good player, he would be willing to do something like that. Now I just have to, let me do the calc real quick. Now I'm going back to things. This is going to be max HP, right? Max HP, 1 special defense, regular, and I want to go Torkoal, Heat Wave. Probably max Quiet. Still doesn't kill. Does it kill with it has a chance to kill, And also it is going to be the sun, so it is definitely going to kill. So I think it really depends on whether the Oranguru is running instructor or not. So I think the tech is I mean, sorry, whether the Oranguru is running the protect or not. Do we have any Orangurus that are running around in this format just yet? Oranguru, Guru, Oranguru. Let's see. Let's see. Regulation, MA. Does it change anything? It does change some things. Mental herb. That's fine. I don't really. Coberberry. If it was running Coberberry, it wouldn't have died. Yeah, maybe with the close combat it does. So instruct, trick room, protect, psychic, foul play. So now are you dropping foul play for protect? Or are you dropping psychic for foul play is definitely the question. Right, if this is such a high usage, it is going, so whatever these four, right? Well, I'm gonna say majority of them use protect, but because he runs foul play, there is a small chance where he is not running protect here, but I'm not sure how exactly sets are going to be. Let me see. Does it have like a team that I can see? No, I can't. Well, what's the top team? I'm just curious now. Is this still the Rogov team? It is, but there hasn't been any major tournament yet, so that's also a thing, right? Because no matter how many things they are bringing, we don't know for sure until there's going to be something new here. Okay, so it is going to be a little bit more mind gamey than I thought. I could have just hit it and then it would have backfired if I lost the King Gambit to the Torkoal. I could also choose to fake out the Torkoal and then try to kowtow, and it will really depend on the investment on the Oranguru for it to kill. So, what else? Dragonite might do something, but I think the best thing to do would be to still run Sneasler King Gambit and then Froslass Basket Legion in the back. And I see, like I said, it wouldn't have killed with the Blizzard and close combat into the Oranguru, unfortunately. And then I think I did best that I could do. Maybe I switch out. No, but then what am I really doing, honestly, right? Froslass Blizzard, close combat. Maybe Sneasler's not doing much here. Could protect, but now I'm thinking more of Heat Wave rather than. But Instruct is very strong here. At this, I just kind of like stalling for time, and then I attack here. I protect here, right? Kill with the Kowtow Cleave. And I think if I got a double protect off here, I had a really good chance in here. Cine could have protected, but I don't think Cine running Life Deal is also running protect. So Blizzard would definitely kill the Cine. Low kick would bring down Drampa enough if it protects, right? So if it protects, I will low kick and then low kick again and sucker if that does something, because I wouldn't have been taking the matcha gotcha damage. So I had some chance. I will have to really go through the matches, right? Because I'm taking too much a gotcha here because of it. But if I got the blizzard off, and if I wouldn't gotten the blizzard off either way. Oh no, it would have died to the burn. If the Cine would have died, still not sure. +2 Drampa. I think it's a little tricky. I don't think I would have won. Really depends on how strong. Wait, how strong is going to be the low kick compared to the sucker punch? Let's do that calc real quick against the Mega Drampa. Let me just do this. Let's see what's the strongest. Adamant 25. No, 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 no. And then it's going to be Mega Drampa. Let's say because it's HC, 39 to 47%. How heavy is Drampa? Dorampa. Okay, I really need to know his weight. I really do need to know. Okay, 240. So it is getting the full low kick damage, isn't it? Let's see. Right, 200. So it's 120. Right, 67 to 74%. Well, how much did it actually do? 63%. So it is a low roll. Oh, but now I know what I'm... If I sucker at low kick... No, I have to low kick sucker. Right? It'll be that. Berserk. Right, he will protect because I will have Blizzard for me to kill Kowtow. Blizzard Kowtow into that. And then I wouldn't have taken damage. And then I can sucker punch. And I have a chance to win. Alright, that should have been it. So if I double protected and then played right, I could have won. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's what it is. So I am not sure whether I will be able to record my game 3, 4, and 5 before the season is over. So I might do maybe some low ranking and on my own, and then if I get into Ultra Ball or if I'm stuck at like Great Ball, I could start there. And I don't think I want to do Pokeball matches here because, you know, who needs to see that, right? So I will see if I get to record tomorrow or will be the new season. But I think I want to climb with this because there are definitely some things that I need to kink out, but you know, it seems like it's a very good team. Alright, so we are going against Mr. Fidget here. That is a Corviknight. am I gonna fight a Corviknight? It's gonna be not rain, but it's going to be a tailwind or Myra Milotic Froslass. I do want to get the weather here, and also King Gambit and Basque, I think. I want to bring Sneasler for the King Gambit, but I think I'm just gonna have to fight the King Gambit with my own King Gambit. It's gonna be pretty difficult. I'm just not really sure. That Corviknight is a little bit different because it's usually Aerodactyl or Whimsicott at best, but it feels like he's in demon. Alright, now I'm at a huge disadvantage. There's a probability that that is a Sucker Punch. Can I have the Scald? Probably Aurora Veil here. I think I'm just gonna have to fight with whatever that is in the back. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see, Alright, that it took a while. Okay, Mega Froslass. I'm hoping that he Sucker Punches and that's why. Okay, flip turn. That's actually a lot of damage. Yeah, so I was hoping he Sucker Punches into the Froslass, thinking that he's either going to get like a Blizzard or a Shadow Ball into the Basket Legion. That's why I have been putting the Aurora Veil to make sure I don't get that, but it could be... Okay. Could be Kowtow into Froslass. Could actually be pretty bad. Scald, please burn. That's actually a lot of damage, huh? Oh no, because it's a crit. If I get the burn, no, Kowtow into Froslass. Doesn't kill. Now I need to be scared of Sucker Punch. So I'm going to protect here, actually. Because now I'm definitely in the Sucker Punch range, right? Okay, yep. Doesn't affect. Keep Tailwinds with Corviknight, but you gotta be kidding me. Alright, okay, never mind. Everything's solved. Tailwind, that we knew. Alright, I'm gonna have to keep hitting Icy Wind with this. And just let my Froslass die now. I don't think I can stall longer for the ooh, that's actually not good. Let's Icy Wind here, and now I actually have to switch out into Basket Legion because of possible Heat Wave. He could Solar Beam into my Mylotic, in which maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. Oh, yep. Protected the Mylotic instead. Alright, does enough damage. Oh, but Aurora Veil is pretty clutch. Citrus Berry. What do? Do you Brave Bird? Into Basket. Nope, into Milotic. Alright. Now I can prevent a Solar Beam. That is something that I can do. So, do I want to keep the MeLuCa here? I don't, right? Even if I have the competitive boost, might be just too low. So let's switch into Froslass here. And then I could liquidate the Zard. He might protect? Does he read? Or is it being the Super Ball tier, he kinda just does Solar Beam? Yep, okay, so he's just bad. So you're gonna absorb the light, you're going to Brave Bird, but still not be able to kill the Basket Legion. Doesn't even do half, so even without the Aurora Veil, that's okay. Liquidation should knock it out. I could set up another Aurora Veil after the Tailwind is over. How many turns? I think I have one more turn of Aurora Veil and no turn. And one more turn Tailwind. Let's double protect. Double protect, stall out the Tailwind, last respects into the Basket Legion. That's fine. Brave Bird. I think I'm still slower. I could try saving the Basket Legion, but if I actually mess up, I don't think I can do that. So let's try to take out the Basket Legion as a priority, and then I'll be 4v1ing against the Triangle. Yeah, I could have switched it out, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. And then Shadow Ball into the basket. Should take it out. If it's not, ooh, okay, now that's the problem. Brave Bird into the Froslass. Now I'm thinking I should have just... Now what? I could suffer. I think that is what I do. And then I have the Corviknight be slower with Icy Wind, and then Sucker Punch into Basket Legion. That should take it out. That should make the Corviknight slower. He might Tailwind, but that means I get one more turn. Where he is gonna have to choose to go either between MeLuCa and the King Gambit. I should have Scald to do maximum amount of damage. Oh no, wait, this gives me a competitive boost. I'll go slower. Let's see. Brave Bird into the MeLuCa. Alright, goodbye. Should have Scalded. Now it is a fight. Do you have Body Press? Do you have Roost? I think if you have Roost, I might lose. Okay, you do have Body Press. I think... How much damage is that? Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think I can win this. What did I do wrong? Could have saved Basket Legion. Right. Maybe that's a good roll. Nope. No, it wasn't. Okay. GG. Ooh, Alright, so this team is quite hard to deal with. Corviknight. I think the best would be Basculegion, right? Just hit liquidation or last respects as soon as possible endgame. I think best way to deal with Corv would be to Basque endgame. So need to preserve it as much as possible. So, right, with that, there's going to be the Mega Froslass with Basking Gambit. I think MeLuCa Scalding wasn't a bad idea here. And then I was afraid King Gambit would sucker, so I Aura Veiled instead to get that, and I think that is okay. I really did not want to take the sucker damage by giving the attack and then potentially do something. I could have Shadow Ball towards the Basculegion to do some damage into the Corviknight. That is also something that I could have done. Right, into Corviknight. The crit does well with the Scald. Kowtow, you do live that. And then now I wanted to take out the King Gambit and protect it from the Sucker Punch range. So that's okay. And Lucky Burn here. Not sure what I would have done with without the burn. Maybe switch out into something else. Charizard, so I put the Icy Wind here. Could have just Scalded. No, I should have protected. Should have protected. When Zard came up with my MeLuCa. I could take Heat Wave with Basque and also switch in again for Solar Beam in the future. So I should have protected here. Cover for a possible Solar Beam into the MeLuCa slot. I was only thinking about the Heat Wave, which is a problem. Bass comes out, MeLuCa takes a lot of damage, and then Brave Bird into the MeLuCa. So now he's brought down pretty low. If he protected here, and then I could have Scalded and then done a lot of damage to it. Now I could switch out. Into the King Gambit. Into the Froslass, take care of the Sun, and then liquidation into the Charizard. That's okay. Could have liquidation into the Corviknight, but would that have killed if it was the bold Corviknight? I don't think it does. That's also the problem, right? I don't think I can one-shot the Corviknight with the liquidation. Give me 1 second. This 32 attack adamant. Liquidation. 85, 32 plus 1 adaptability. And then focus stash, so that's okay. Into alright, so at least not even. And what I would have needed to do was maybe a hit with like at least 2 dead, you know, and then that would have done 80 to 94%. Probably, let's say something along the lines of this. let's say it's HB. If it's like that, and then 2 hit from Last Respects would have killed it. So like I said, I do need to wait until endgame for me to take out the Corviknight. So that's okay. Until that's fine, I could take out, but I should have switched out. Double protecting is okay, but now I should have, because he's not very good, because if he was good he would have predicted. Because he was not good to read the Froslass switch in, I could also assume that he cannot read King Gambit to switch into Last Respects. Could have switched Bask out and Shadow Ball Bask. Even if I don't kill the Bask, it's safe because King Gambit can take care of Bask leader, and Corviknight wasn't going to do body press into that. So even if Last Respect goes into Froslass, I could either bring in the MeLuCa, I could either bring in the Basket Legion, and then try to do Last Respect into the Corviknight. So something that's probably what I would have done if I had played it better. And also it matters little less that Froslass dies compared to Bask dying. So I really needed to save Bask no matter what for Corviknight. And because I didn't do that, I lost. As usual, okay. So that was game 3. Hopefully I can do better next game. Alright. Mr. Brandon. Ooh, what is this? Sneasler, Froslass, Ensign. Could MeLuCa. Could also just Sneasler, Froslass. But then it gets really weak against the Ensign. No, I will have my Unburden. So I'll just fake out Ensign and then do stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Do that, I'll have King Gambit in the back. And I'm not sure if I want MeLuCa in the back. Might work out, or just Basket Legion for Froslass and them. Sure. Standard. I'm still debating whether I'm going to put the MeLuCa. Do I want MeLuCa instead of Froslass? Garchomp. Garchomp, Garchomp. Matcha, gotcha. No, I think this is better. Maybe I'm gonna regret it with the Ensign, but we'll see about this. Alright. Okay, it's going to be the Sneasler and this one. I am faster than King. That is a last resort. Most likely. Let's double protect here. Because of Scrappy. And also because my Sneasler is slower, I'm worried that their Sneasler is going to be faster than my Sneasler. Right? Yeah, and then he's gonna fake out into, yeah, over there. So now I could close combat the King and then Blizzard here. Because I wall Sneasler pretty well. That's definitely a last resort Kangaskhan, I think. From my feels. Let's see. If it's a Mega and then you Sucker Punch, it's going to be pretty terrible. Alright, that's not the end of the world. You have to last resort here. Now I'm just hoping that I'm faster than at least this Kangaskhan, but it might be Jolly this set. Okay, no, I'm faster. Okay, so now I'm actually faster than the opponent. Sneasler now 2, which is good. I do get my normal back. Who's gonna come out? Maybe Garchomp? I could close combat into the Garchomp, but it's still Blizzard. Scarf I'm not too scared about. Rock Slide I'm a little bit scared about. Let's see. You're going to Rage Powder most likely, so I'm going to Blizzard and Dire Claw here to make sure that I can take out the Sinistral. I do have Bask in the bag for the Sneasler, so I'm actually free to do this. Okay, you don't even have the Sneasler. Who is this? Instant? No, it's a Froslass. Okay, no. Now what? Sneasler comes out. I should Aurora Veil here. I think this is a turn. Sneasler kind of did his job, but you're going to definitely fake out into the Sneasler. So let's Aurora Veil here. I have King Gambit in the back too, so as long as Basket Legion can take care of Sneasler, I am good. Because I have King Gambit in the back for the Froslass. Alright, protect, fake out into the Sneasler. Mega. Do we double Aurora Veil here? We might Shadow Ball or Blizzard. Either way, I'm okay. Right, Blizzard into my Blizzard. My Froslass probably doesn't do that much damage. So I'm going to Shadow Ball into the Froslass now. And then close combat. Do I? No. What? No, actually. Yeah. It could be Sash. So let's Dire Claw into the Sneasler. And then Shadow Ball into the Froslass. I cannot lose to a Sash Sneasler. If you sleep, crit, better than nothing. Dire Claw, do I sleep? Nope, Shadow Ball. I'm fast now, so it must be pretty, it's not even bulky. I don't know what that set is, but it's pretty much over from now. Dire Claw, Blizzard, and that is game. I'm like 4 against me. Oh, I could do that. There was like this weekly mission to like win a match without anyone dying. I think I can win that. This one. Good. Can we win? I think that puts me up to Ultra Ball today. I could just double check. But that wasn't... If you're using a Last Resort Kangaskhan set, you're not a bot, right? Oh no, I'm still Great Ball Tier 1. Now, in this matchup, I think up to Sneasler, King Gambit, Basket Legion is set against this team, but flex slot would be between Froslass or MeLuCa, depending on how much I believe they will bring Garchomp and Ensign. I think he is not likely to bring in the Ensign because of because I have both MeLuCa and Gambit. Likely to bring Ensign. I can drop MeLuCa for Froslass and against the opponent Froslass, the Sinistra, and also the Garchomp in that team. And unlike MeLuCa, my ghost typing helps me wall enemy Sneasler also very well. It's just that I will be weaker against the Incineroar. Very weak against the Incineroar compared to MeLuCa. So I think if there was an Incineroar, I do have Sneasler and Basket Legion in the back for the protection as well. So I'm less inclined to bring in the MeLuCa, so that's fine. In here, I know for sure that, well, most likely sure that the opponent's Sneasler is going to be faster than my own because they either run Jolly max speed or Adamant max speed in most cases, but in here I'm Adamant and I'm not even max speed here because I'm 15 speed Adamant, so I'm going to be slower. So if I try to fake out the Kangaskhan to prevent the fake out into the Froslass, it's not going to work out because Sneasler can easily fake out into my Sneasler. And with the scrappy Kangaskhan is going to try to fake out into my Froslass. So I double protect here, which is correct. And then now because I'm faster at least the Kang and Sneasler can't really do much, I could safely Blizzard and close combat into the Kang. Only thing that I was scared of is, like I said, being faster than, well, Kang being faster than me. Let me just double check. I'm Adamant. I'm 15, right? 15 speed, and then not even Mega Kangaskhan. So if you're Jolly max speed, you're actually faster. So it really depends on whether the Last Resort is going to be strong enough. If you're Adamant, then he's going to be faster. I'm actually curious. I'm actually curious of what set Kangaskhan is running, whether it's going to be Jolly or Adamant. Let me just give a quick check. So we are here going into the battle data. Can I see the season 1? Rank battle season M1. Wow, 20. Oh, no, single battle. Even so, 27. Kangaskhan, normal type. Kangaskhan, Last Resort set. 21% Silk Scarf, mostly Adamant, somewhat Brave, so no one's gonna run really Jolly most of the time, and it will be max. I think it's safe to say that it is going to be max Adamant, max speed Adamant, right? Because these are the sets run by the Mega Kang, and this would be the sets that are run by the so Adamant, the Silk Scarf set with the Last Resort, so 19%, 20%. Who is running Last Resort but not Silk Scarf? And probably running Choppleberry, things like that. So yeah, it is safe to say that this is going to be Adamant. So most of the time I am going to be faster than the Kangaskhan. So back to the review. So with this being faster, I could double. No, him protecting is okay. I have Blizzard. I know that the can cannot protect because Last Resort will not go through if that is the case. I do have the Unburden, so I'm faster than their Sneasler. So Cine, because of possible Rage Powder, I did not want to close combat. And I wanted to take out Sneasler as much as I could. Right? So Dire Claw. And I don't think I one shot with my Blizzard because I don't have a lot of special attack investment here. So doubling up into Sinisha, make sure it takes it out. Sneasler comes out. But now I can probably take Sneasler pretty easily. Aura Veil to set up in case he Shadow Balls and I die. And I wanted to prevent the fake out coming from the opponent's Sneasler. And I think everything is pretty good. Dire Claw into there, Shadow Ball into there. If something dies, I don't really care at the moment because I have King Gambit to take care of Froslass, and then I have my liquidation to take care of Sneasler, no matter whether it is going to be the Sash or whether it is going to be the White Herb. So with that, I just do keep attacking for the win. So pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. Important to read the speed tiers and calcs, but his team is pretty weak against my Sneasler Froslass combo to begin with. So yeah, so it's just really good team matchup against the opponent. Okay. Alright, so the last game, hopefully, against the Weasel King is going to be the Mega Floette, Garchomp, King Gambit, Sneasler, Volcarona, and Aerodactyl. At least it's not Zard, but Aerodactyl does scare me a little bit. I could fake it out and close combat with my Sneasler. Everything is good. This can cover for Floette, Garchomp, not Volcarona. Froslass can cover for the Garchomp weakness. I would need to bring Bascullegion Legion against the Volcarona. And then King Gambit. Is King Gambit really doing anything in this matchup? I don't think it is, right? Like, what am I potentially bringing it in against? Against the other King Gambit? Well, I sure can just bring Dragonite. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't think I need to bring King Gambit here. I just need to do as much damage with my Dragonite as possible and see if that works out. Let's see if I am getting this correctly. Alright, it's going to be the Floette King Gambit. Bless you. Let's fake out. I don't think I want to fake out here. Let's just Dire Claw into Floette and Aura Veil. You might protect, but if you protect, you're not really doing anything with your King Gambit other than kowtow into my Froslass. But after the Froslass already set up the Aura Veil, does not really matter. So you Mega here. You could always Mega and then protect and then switch out later. Feriora, you LOR. I think even if you LOR, because I have Aura Veil set up, I might be able to live the Light of Ruin. But I do Dark Claw first. Oh, it doesn't die. Okay. Poison is not bad. Poison really is not bad. Moonblast. I live that. Barely. Do I live Kowtow? I also live Kowtow in most cases, but it always puts me into Sucker Punch range. Now I'm always scared of Garchomp. I'm not in Sucker Punch range for this, so I'm going to switch in my Bask here. No, I'm protecting here. I need to let Floette die, because then I wouldn't be able to bring in my okay. Do you Dazzling? You might Dazzling Gleam. That's actually pretty bad. Moonblast into the Sneasler. Kills it. That's okay. I want to say at least the Floette dies. I'm definitely bringing in my Dragonite here. Against, so I can, what should we call it? I can low kick into the opponent. Volcarona. So let's low kick here. Now do you sucker? What do you have in the back? That's fine. But do I sack my Froslass here? I do. I do not want to. If I can get a double protect off, great. If it fails, that's still okay. Heat Wave will take out the Froslass, that's fine. I really did not want the Sash to come out. Just don't burn, please. Just don't burn. Low kick into the King Gambit. So he probably Kowtow into the Dragonite. Now I have the Basculegion. I can Liquidation into the Volcarona now. And Sneasler. It can fake out. I'm actually going to double protect here to fish out a protect for Volcarona, because it's very obvious that it's going to at least want to. I just hope that he doesn't set up. Dire Claw. What does he set up here? Heat Wave, okay. So now I Dragon Claw into the Sneasler, and then I Liquidation into the Volcarona. Just in case of Fake Out, Basculegion could have done something, but if he doesn't, now he protects, that's great. Put Dire Claw into Bask, as long as you don't get any status. Oh, I do get the status. Declaw to Sneasler. That is actually terrible. I don't have the Aura Veil anymore. ES into the Sneasler. And then let's just protect. Okay, at least Sneasler doesn't protect here to do like weird things. Heat Wave, most likely, or Struggle Bug. Okay, Heat Wave. Just don't burn. I know my Bask is not going to burn, but Dragon. Why is this happening to me? try to do as much damage as possible. Liquidation into the Volcarona. If I wake up, I can win here. But then I guess as long as I'm sleeping, I'm not getting burned, right? Oh, you're faster. You can't be scarfed. Dragon Claw doesn't do any damage. Okay, woke up. Liquidation into the Volcarona. Should kill. Great. Ooh. Oh, now I'm burned? That's okay. Play more. That's the most irrelevant burn ever. Okay, so I think that brings me into the Ultra Ball now, for sure. I can say that. Win streak. Rank 4. Alright, so I'm probably... yeah, let's take a look at the game as well. Alright, so it's good to at least end it with a win here. Let me go over my team preview. Sneasler, Froslass can cover for Floette, Garchomp, King Gambit, kind of Sneasler, basically everything except Volcarona and Aerodactyl. So I added Basque, can cover for them both. King Gambit is not very favorable in this matchup, so decided to bring Dragonite, who can shine if Floette is gone. And I have two A's. I have Sneasler and Basque to deal with Floette, both in early and late game. He ends up leading Floette, so I Dire Claw into the Floette. And then I Aura Veil to cover for King Gambit. Sucker Punching, attacking. There is a world where I could have Blizzard here. Be a little bit more aggressive because I know that... Wait, no. I think Sucker Punch kills if I don't set up the Veil. Let me just check for that. King Gambit, Sucker Punch. This, let's say it's max attack. Into Mega Froslass. I think I have 30 HP. Yeah. I am bulky, but I'm not that bulky. Right, see? Okay, very likely to kill. So because very likely to kill, I always need to set up Aura Veil first before I am attacking against the King Gambit. Because then with the Aura Veil, I can live a Kowtow to do other things in the future. However, I cannot live a Sucker Punch more than half the time if I decide to attack first, and I don't think that's a great idea. Yes, I will be able to take care of Floette to begin with, but that just wasn't the case. So now a Moonblast, and now he does a good play about protecting the King Gambit and attacking the Floette. Could I have double protected? There's no reason to double protect here. Is there a reason to... So let's say I Blizzard. So King Gambit, Sucker Punch. So he either Sucker Punches my Froslass, or he protects, or he switches out. Switching out with my close combat, unless you have Volcarona or Sneasler, could have been a good idea. He could have definitely done that, and then Dazzling, and then bring in the King Gambit later. Maybe he thought that he was going to eat the Blizzard if I did that. That's also a possibility. But he puts my Froslass in a really bad position, right? Because he can always threaten the Sucker Punch. So if he's Sucker, and then I just click Blizzard. If you protect, I Blizzard the Floette, live the Sneasler, live the Froslass, and I can always close combat next turn. If I if I double protect, and then Sneasler switches in place of Floette, that's actually really bad. So I think double attacking is not bad. If he protects, if the King Gambit protects, that's what I want. Then I can kill the Floette without it doing damage onto the Sneasler. I think I could have been more aggressive, because I don't mind Froslass dying right now. Just Blizzard into CC from Sneasler could take out Floette before it is able to do damage into the Sneasler. It could have killed both my Sneasler and Froslass, but I would also take out both King Gambit and their Floette. So now I'm potentially facing the two. Do have Baskin Dragon Knight against possibly Garchomp, Sneasler, Volcarona, or Aerodactyl. I don't really care about the Sneasler for there. Only thing that I want to preserve with Froslass will be the Garchomp, right? I think I wanted to preserve the Froslass in case of Garchomp, which does make sense. But I think I mostly one-shot Garchomp, like, except for the very bulky variant, because that's what the Calc is for and the Dragon Fang is for. So I am actually more favored here, even if Garchomp comes, because I have Dragonite in the back and I have multi-scale. So I'm actually not that scared. So I could have been a little bit more aggressive here. I think that's the thing. Right. Okay. Not that it was really bad because of it, but in here, like I said, if I had done that, I would have lived both Froslass and Sneasler into probably him coming in with the Sneasler. Now it's going to be Dragonite, who can low kick in there. And then do I switched in because they... No, no, I don't. I just decide to sack it. Right? I didn't want the sucker punch. So I double protected. If I double protected, it would have been nice. But he doesn't sucker punch here, which is a little bit odd. Could have put Shadow Ball, but I don't think that is something that I wanted to take risk of. I would rather take the risk of 33%. I live the Froslass. I can Shadow Ball no matter whatever I want into the Volcarona, right? So now in here, having this Sneasler definitely does not feel good. Double protect in case of a fake out. And Dragon Claw could have Jet. I think that is a calc that I need to also be aware of. Let's see. Let's see if he actually puts a bulk into it. Dragonite. Dragon Claw 32 Adamant. No, not that. You bar into this. Sneasler, no investment. Maybe like 2. Okay, so I don't kill either way, right? So if I can't kill, I should have Aqua Jet into the Sneasler. Right. Let's actually write this down. Over here. Dragonite. Dragon Claw does this much percent to B2 Sneasler. So always add it with either yes or anything. Dire Claw, it goes into it. Dragon Claw. So if I jet, I could have... I mean, I still would have been falling asleep, right? It's not the... yes into Sneasler. And Volcarona can't really do much with the Heat Wave. But I don't know what set is running because it's just been keep hitting Heat Wave. Maybe it's Scarf? If it was Scarf, it is very fast. To say the least. The burn does suck. It's faster than my D-Knight, it's faster than my Basket Legion. But I think Volcarona in itself is not very slow to begin with. Sure, what is that? Right, you 0 120. What is that? Volcarona, and then I just needed to wait until my Basket Legion wakes up. Liquidation for the kill. Volcarona 100 speed, so it's faster than my Bask for sure. I think it's also faster than my Dragonite because it can barely be faster than the opponent. What do you call it? Opponent Aegislash. So that's what it was teched for. Okay, so I'm glad that I'm able to, end this episode with the win. Overall, this is a very strong feeling team. Last day I went from 1700 to 1800 with winning 6 games in a row. With this on the last day, so I've been able to finish with the 1800 points, just shy of 100,000. So it's okay. There's supposedly 500,000 people who hit Master Ball, and I'm little less than 100,000 rank. It's like 90k, 90 something k. That puts me in the top 20%. Surprisingly, it's just there is a lot of people who is much better than I am. I have 90,000 people to beat. But if you think about it in percentage, it's not that bad. I want to get into, top 10, top 5%. Let's see if I can do my journey next season. Probably not this season because not being released on mobile does hurt in terms of how much I can play. But when it does release on mobile and then we go to MB, I am looking forward to playing more every now and then just to solidify what I can do, because right now what I'm doing is I'm picking a team for my video and I'm filming five and maybe like practicing five more in champions, but mostly on showdown because I play on my phone. So I'm not really putting that much games. I have like 90 something wins. I think it was like 87 wins the whole season. Last one, so less than 200 games. Definitely less than 200 games all season. So that's not enough to improve in things. But in June, I'm looking for what I can do with more time. Okay. So thank you guys so much if you guys stuck until the end of the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.